was travelling in airspace that was meant to be safe. Tonight, investigators are still trying to piece together what's happened. The most likely theory so far, a missile strike. Right now, it's claimed that this is the weapon most likely to have brought the aircraft down. It's a Russian-made Buk, and it's one of the missiles in the region capable of reaching that height, more than 30,000 feet. But even at that height, experts say a well-trained operator would easily recognise a civilian airliner. So did the missile system fall into the wrong hands?
The Russian military, I can't believe, would have done this. The question, therefore, is how has the Russian military given this kit, if you like, to the babies? Has it given it to the goons, who have enough technology to switch it on, but no understanding of what they're doing?
So why was the aircraft flying over a conflict zone? Well, the Malaysian flight was flying on a well-travelled route. Think of it as a motorway for airliners between Europe and Asia. A few days ago, the Ukrainian authorities did restrict flights in the same area after attacks on military aircraft. But crucially, they only stopped planes from flying below 31,000 feet. This airliner was flying at around 33,000 feet, well above the restricted danger zone. Not only was it meant to be safe up there, but plenty of other major airlines were flying on the same route too.
They were choosing the most economic flight route possible to keep their costs down, which is something we expect as customers. And they were no different than many other international airlines coming out of the UK, coming out of Europe.
As for Malaysian Airlines, 2 tragedies in less than 6 months has left them reeling. The search for the missing flight MH370 resumes next month. So what happens now? Well, all major airlines have stopped passing over eastern Ukraine, which could add some time to flights, especially between Europe and Asia. There are reports tonight that they found the aircraft's flight data recorder. It should at least reveal if the crew got any warning.
That was Richard Westcott, our transport correspondent there. With me now, our diplomatic correspondent, Bridget Kendall. Bridget, you've been monitoring all of these reports throughout the evening. Put them together for us. What conclusions, if any, can we draw so far?
Well, I think the main thing to be careful about is that we can't draw any firm conclusions yet. And it could be this has nothing to do with the Ukrainian conflict, that it's some terrible accident to do with the aircraft, perhaps, or some other agency. But it was in a conflict zone, and already we're seeing the recriminations between the Ukrainian government and the rebels, each blaming each other. And the question arises, will this just make the conflict worse, or will they be so shocked, the two sides, not just civilians on the ground now, needlessly dying in this conflict, but civilians in the air too, and they've got to take a step back. There's talk of this possible truce by rebels to allow the investigation to go over. But it is possible the other alternative could happen, and already tonight we're seeing that the Vice President of the US, Joe Biden, is saying that it does look as though the plane was blown out of the sky, that it wasn't an accident. The Americans have already been critical of what they say is heavy weaponry coming over